Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Flash Talk. Today we are diving into a concept that sounds small, but it has the power to completely transform your entire life. We are talking about the 1% rule.
Hi guys! This is one of my favourite topics because it removes the stress of huge goals. Most people think that to change their life, they need to make a massive leap. They think they need to work 18 hours a day or learn 1,000 words in a week.
It's the illusion of the big move, but real change is mathematical. If you improve by just 1% every single day for a year, do you know how much better you will be at the end of those 365 days?
Most people would guess maybe 3 times better or 4 times.
Actually, because of compound interest, you will be 37 times better. 37 times! That is the power of tiny gains stacking on top of each other.
37 times. That is incredible. But here is the problem. 1% feels like nothing while you are doing it. If I study English for 5 minutes today, I don't wake up tomorrow speaking like a native. I wake up feeling exactly the same.
And that is exactly why most people quit. We live in a world that wants instant results. We want the microwave success. But habits are like planting a tree. You water it today and nothing happens. You water it tomorrow and nothing happens.
But underground, the roots are growing. The system is forming. We underestimate the small steps because they don't give us a trophy immediately.
Exactly. We overestimate the importance of one big defining moment, and we underestimate the value of making small improvements on a daily basis. Whether it's your health, your money, or your English, the process is the same.
So instead of focusing on the finish line, which is so far away, we should focus on the trajectory. Are you 1% better today than you were yesterday? That is the only question that matters.
Precisely. It's about systems, not goals. A goal is a destination, but a system is the vehicle that actually takes you there. In this episode, we are going to break down how to build those systems so success becomes automatic.
I'm ready to stop looking for miracles and start looking for 1%. Let's explore why waiting for results is the trap that stops most beginners.
So, let's talk about why people stop halfway. There is a concept called the plateau of latent potential, or the valley of disappointment. This is where most dreams go to die.
The Valley of Disappointment. That sounds like a scary place. Is that where you feel like you are working hard, but nothing is changing?
Exactly. We expect progress to be a straight line. If I study for 10 hours, I expect to be 10 units smarter. But real progress is not linear. It is exponential.
So, at the beginning, for a long time, the results are invisible. It feels like you are stagnant, like heating an ice cube. If the room is 20 degrees and you heat it to 31 degrees, the ice is still there.
That is a perfect example. From 20 to 31 degrees, nothing seems to happen. You might feel frustrated. You say, I am doing the work. Why is this ice not melting?
But then you hit 32 degrees, and suddenly the ice melts. 1 degree of change made the entire difference, but it wasn't just that 1 degree. It was the buildup of all the previous degrees.
Precisely. In learning a language or starting a business, you spend months in the valley of disappointment. You are adding those degrees of knowledge, but you don't feel fluent yet.
And that is when the overthinking starts. You say, maybe I'm not good at this. Maybe the method is wrong. Maybe I should just quit.
But actually, your work is not wasted. It is stored. All the 5-minute sessions, all the small efforts are waiting for you to reach your melting point.
So if I stop now, I lose all that latent potential. I never see the ice melt. That is so sad. To quit right before the breakthrough.
It happens every day. To avoid this, you must stop looking at the results and start falling in love with the process. You have to trust the 1% rule.
So, focus on the temperature, not the ice. Focus on the habit, not the goal. If you keep adding 1% of heat every day, the melting is inevitable.
Inevitable. I love that word. Success is a lagging measure of your habits. Your bank account is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your English level is a lagging measure of your learning habits.
A lagging measure. So the present is just a reflection of what I did months ago. If I want a different reflection next year, I need to change the input right now.
Now, most people think that building a 1% habit requires massive willpower. They say, I just need more discipline to study or work on my goals.
I say that all the time. If only I had more willpower, I would be unstoppable. But willpower is like a battery. It runs out by the end of the day.
Exactly. Willpower is a finite resource. If you fight your environment every single day, the environment will always win. You need to stop being a victim of your surroundings and start being the architect.
The architect of my environment? That sounds sophisticated. So, instead of trying to be stronger, I should make the good habit easier to see.
Precisely. Human beings are visual creatures. We respond to cues. If you want to practice your English every morning, don't hide your book in a drawer. Put it directly on top of your coffee machine.
Haha. So I have to touch the book before I get my caffeine. That is clever. You are placing the 1% choice right in front of your face.
It's called visual cues. If you want to drink more water, put a bottle in every room. If you want to learn new vocabulary, put sticky notes on the mirror where you brush your teeth.
And the opposite must be true for bad habits, right? If I want to stop overthinking or stop wasting time on my phone, I should hide the phone in another room?
Absolutely. Make the bad habit invisible or difficult. If you have to walk to the kitchen to check your social media, you probably won't do it as often. You are adding friction to the wrong path and removing friction from the right path.
It's like designing a slope. You want to roll towards the 1% improvement effortlessly. Your environment should push you toward your best self, not pull you away from it.
Exactly. Most people live in an environment that is designed by someone else, usually advertisers or tech companies, to distract them. To take control of your 1%, you must redesign your space.
So, stop blaming your lack of discipline and start looking at your desk, your living room, and your phone screen. Are they helping you or hurting you?
Environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. If you change the hand, you change the direction of your life. Now, let's talk about starting. Even with a perfect environment, the biggest obstacle to the 1% rule is the moment you actually begin. We make our habits too big in our heads.
I know that feeling, I say. Today I will study for 2 hours. And then my brain says, 2 hours? That's too long. Let's just watch a show instead.
Exactly. Your brain is protecting your energy. To beat this, you need the 2-minute rule. Whatever habit you want to build, shrink it until it takes less than 2 minutes to do.
2 minutes, but I cannot learn English in 2 minutes. I cannot get fit in 2 minutes. That sounds like cheating.
It's not about the result, it's about showing up. If you want to read more, the habit isn't reading a chapter. The habit is reading 1 page. If you want to run, the habit is putting on your running shoes.
So, once I put on my shoes, the hardest part is over. I'm already at the door. It's easier to keep going than it is to stop and take the shoes off.
Precisely. You have to master the art of showing up before you can worry about the quality of the work. A habit must be established before it can be improved.
Established before it can be improved. I love that. So, for the first week, my only goal is to just be the kind of person who opens the app for 2 minutes every day.
Exactly. You are standardizing your starting ritual. Most overthinkers want to perfect the finish line before they even cross the start line. But the 1% rule says, just step onto the track.
It removes the guilt too. If I only have 5 minutes because I am busy, I can still do my 2-minute habit and keep my streak alive. I don't feel like a failure.
Consistency is the fuel of the 1% rule. If you do it for 2 minutes every day, you are building a powerful momentum. Doing something small every day is better than doing something huge once a month.
So, stop trying to climb the mountain in one jump. Just focus on taking the first 2 steps. Once you start, The rest usually takes care of itself.
Start small, but start now. That is the secret to making the 1% work for you. Now, let's look at the deepest layer of the 1% rule. Most people focus on what they want to achieve. They say, I want to lose 10 kilos or I want to speak perfect English.
But those are results. Isn't that the point of having a goal? To get the result.
The result is the output, but the identity is the engine. If you only focus on the result, your motivation will fade as soon as you hit a hard day. You need to shift from outcome-based habits to identity-based habits.
Identity-based. So, instead of saying, I'm trying to learn English, I should say, I am an English speaker.
Exactly. It sounds like a small change in words, but it is a massive change in mindset. A person who is trying to quit smoking might say, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. But a person who has changed their identity says, no thanks, I'm not a smoker.
Oh, I see the difference. The non-smoker isn't using willpower to resist. They are just being who they are. Their actions are a reflection of their identity.
Precisely. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. If you write one sentence every day, you are casting a vote for being a writer. If you practice English for 5 minutes, you are voting for being a language learner.
So, the 1% rule is actually a voting system. I don't need to be perfect to win the election. I just need more votes for the new me than for the old me.
That's it. You don't need a unanimous vote. You just need a majority. If you make a mistake today, it's okay. Just make sure your next action is a vote for the person you want to be.
This makes the process so much more meaningful. It's not just about the English or the money anymore. It's about becoming someone I respect.
Exactly. True behavior change is identity change. You might start a habit because of motivation, but you only stick to it because it becomes part of who you are.
So, stop asking, what do I want? And start asking, who is the type of person who could achieve that result? And then, just do what they would do for 1% of the day.
Identity is the ultimate 1%. It's the foundation of everything else. Now, we must be careful. The 1% rule is a double-edged sword. It works for improvement, but it also works for decline. A bad habit that is 1% worse today doesn't seem like a big deal.
Oh, I see. It's like eating one cookie. It doesn't make me unhealthy today. Or skipping my English practice just once. It doesn't make me lose my fluency overnight.
Exactly. But if you repeat that 1% error every day, the math works against you. If you get 1% worse every day for a year, you decline almost all the way to 0.
That sounds like a downward spiral. It's invisible at first. Just like the good habits, you don't notice the damage until it's too late.
Precisely. This is why we need the rule of 2. We all have bad days. We all get tired or busy. But the secret to stopping the spiral is never miss twice.
Never miss twice. I love that. So, if I miss my workout or my study session on Tuesday, it's okay, but I must show up on Wednesday.
Exactly. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new habit. The first mistake doesn't ruin you. It's the spiral of repeated mistakes that breaks the 1% rule.
So, it's not about being perfect. It's about being resilient. It's about getting back on the horse as fast as possible.
Yes, too many people overthink their failures. They say, oh, I ate a donut. My diet is ruined. I might as well eat the whole box.
Haha, I've done that so many times. If I fail a little, I fail a lot. But now I realize that is just bad math.
Exactly. One bad vote doesn't lose the election. Just make sure your next vote is a good one. Don't let a bad day turn into a bad week.
So, be gentle with yourself when you trip, but be firm about standing up again. The 1% rule is about the long game.
Consistency isn't about never failing. It's about failing and recovering quickly. We've reached the end of our journey today. We've talked about math, environment, identity, and resilience. But now, it's your turn.
Our turn. I'm ready. What is the challenge?
I want you to pick one tiny action that takes less than 2 minutes. Something that makes you 1% better in your English, your health, or your work.
Just one thing. That's it?
That's it. But here is the key. Do it right now. As soon as this podcast ends, don't plan it for tomorrow. Don't write it in a journal. Just do the 2-minute version today.
Action is the only thing that counts. Everything else is just talk. If you want to change your life, you don't need a miracle. You just need a system.
Exactly. And remember, you are the architect of that system. You have the power to design your future, 1% at a time.
What an empowering episode. I'm going to go and read my 1 page of English right now.
That's the spirit. Thank you everyone for tuning in to English Flash Talk. We believe in the power of your small steps.
If this episode gave you even 1% of clarity, please share it with someone who needs an extra push today.
Subscribe to join our community of 1%ers. We love seeing your growth and hearing about your wins.
Leave a comment and tell us, what is your 2-minute habit for today? We want to know.
Keep showing up, keep building systems, and keep flashing.
We'll see you in the next podcast. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.